Mary, how are you? Thanks so much for joining. ERGJ, Certified Financial Educator here. Of course, I got some things to say today, things on my mind. And so obviously we got the title of Financial Freedom, number one reason why you're still in debt. But before I do, I got some good news for you guys. My goal this year, in case you guys don't know, anybody know what my goal was? Raz, you've been watching any of my videos? I don't know if you have or not. But my goal, my number one goal this year was have my first paid speaking engagement. My first paid speaking engagement. And I actually got a call today. I got a call to let me start off. I got a call today. So I got a call today, and we are negotiating the terms for my first paid speaking engagement. I'm working with a church who wants to bring me in March to talk to the congregation about money. Now, why am I telling you guys this? Obviously, you guys are part of my success, and I'm a part of your success. We've been partnering for success. But the reason why I'm saying this is because it is amazing what happens when you know exactly where you want to go. It's amazing how quickly you can get there. Now, you got to know where you want to go. That's the number one thing. So when we're talking about the number one reason why you're still in debt, this kind of ties into this. There's the reason why many of us are still in debt is because we don't know that we want to get out of debt. We don't see a zero at the end of all our balances. We don't know what that looks like. So the number one reason why people are still in debt because they have not made it a priority. See, each and every day I was saying that this is the year I get my first paid speaking engagement. I wasn't thinking about it. I was confessing it each and every day. It was on my mind. Most people, they have a wish. They wish to get out of debt, but they don't intend to get out of debt. Let me say that again. They wish to get out of debt, but they don't intend to get out of debt because intention should be followed by action. Wishing is only followed by more sleeping, more dreaming, more talking about it. You can't just wish to get out of debt. You have to intend to get out of debt. Matter of fact, I would say that you got to have a no matter what attitude as it relates to getting out of debt. It's got to become a priority. And for most people, it's not a priority. Now, here's the deal. Here's what's a priority. What is a priority for most people this weekend? Instead of working on finding out ways to get out of debt, guess what they're doing? Trying to find more Super Bowl parties. They're trying to spend more money on liquor. They're trying to buy 15 million pizzas for the Super Bowl party. That is their priority this weekend, mostly, more so than get out of debt. Yes. So they already don't have discretionary income because a part of everything that comes into your hand when you're in debt belongs to someone else, regardless of whether you pay for it, pay them or not. When your credit card, you owe your credit card, you owe $20,000 on this credit card, a part of all of your income that comes into your hand belongs to your creditor. Now, you may decide not to pay your creditor, but a part of what you earn belongs to your creditor. So it's almost like garnishing wages. You know, if you was on child support, it'll automatically get garnished. But here's the deal. They don't garnish your wages, but you still owe. So, some people may be making a way. If you're hosting a party and you're having people pay to come, or maybe you did some pool and you're having people pay to get in this pool, this square pool or whatever, to bet on the game, and you're gonna keep some. Like if I was hosting a party, there's gonna be some house money, right? We're gonna gamble, we're gonna do all this stuff, but some of that money coming to the house. If you're gonna do it, do it smart, right? Like the casino doesn't sit there and lose money for people to come into their house. They always walk away with some money. So if you're going to do it smart. But most people ain't thinking like that. Most people are just thinking about having a good time. And that is the deal, guys. We've made having a good time, entertaining ourselves, living the life that we want to live, even though we can't afford it. We've made that a priority over getting out of debt. And because we won't make getting out of debt a priority. See, when I think about it, like this whole world, this whole society that we have set up, is set up for you to be in debt. It's set up for you to be a slave. Think about it. You start off New Year's thinking about, hey, this is a New Year's resolution. I want to get out of debt. But where are you at? You're at some New Year's Eve party. You're out here celebrating 2015 as if it was a success. You made it through, yes. You're into 2016, but now you're starting off at some party, spending money, that you don't have. Then what comes up? Then comes what? Super Bowl. Then comes Valentine's Day. Then comes all of the holidays that follow it that you feel like you have to spend some money in order to be a part of society. Now, here's the deal. Tomorrow I'm going to be talking about, tomorrow morning I'll be talking about Church Without Walls returns. I'm going to be talking about what the Bible says about money. And here's what the Bible says about people. That if you follow the Bible, even if you don't, that be in this world, but not of this world. And what's of this world is that if you think about it, America, I don't know about everybody else, America right now is $20 trillion in debt. So what can America teach you? What can the society teach you? How to be in debt. And we keep falling for it because we don't understand that the system is set up for you to be a consumer. The system is set up for you to spend money that you don't have. The system is set up for you to make all the corporations rich. That's how the system is set up. So if you don't understand the system, then you'll continue to be a part of the system. And the Bible tells us to be in this world, but not of this world. But yet we continue to want to be a part of the world. We want to be like everybody else. And guess what, guys? Everybody else is broke. So why not go down a different path? Why not decide that I'm going to be a trailblazer? Here's how I got out of debt, guys. And here's what getting out of debt. Here's what a desire, a burning desire to get out of debt looks like. And most people don't have a burning desire. Again, it's just a wish. Oh, I wish I can get out of debt. Oh, I hope that I can get out of debt one day. It's not a burning desire. And guess what? It'll never happen. But you had a burning desire to get that new car. You had a burning desire to get that Gucci bag. You had a burning desire to get that new necklace. That's where your burning desire was. But you don't have a burning desire to get out of debt. The only time you're going to get a I'm not going to say that. Most people, the only time they get a burning desire to get out of debt is when it's foreclosure time. Most people, the only time they have a burning desire to get out of debt is when the repo man is calling. Most people don't have a burning desire to get out of debt until their child no longer has any food to eat. They say that people only change for two reasons, either by inspiration or desperation. My goal is to inspire you to change so that you don't have to be desperate to change. Again, let me say that again. My goal is to inspire you to change so you don't have to be desperate to change. We know where the road leads, but we're still on a path to destruction. It's the craziest thing. I know where it's leading. I know where it's going to go. I know where I end up if I don't change my ways. But I'm comfortable. I'm familiar with this road that's leading to destruction, financial destruction, and I just won't get off the road. No one's holding me on the road. No one is. I'm just deciding that I'm not going to get off this road that's leading to financial purgatory. Isn't that the craziest thing? We need a financial savior. That's what it is. So the number one reason why any of us are still in debt because we have not made getting out of debt a priority. I don't know who the guy from American Idol is, but anyway, we haven't made getting out of debt a priority. Marley, if you distract me, I'm going to have to say goodbye to you, brother. I'm trying to have a conversation here. Goodbye. So the only reason why we're still in debt is because we haven't made it a priority. When will you make it a priority? So here's what it looked like for me when I was getting out of debt, man. Here's what it looked like. The first thing I did, I took a look at my credit card, paper or whatever, or a statement. I put that statement on the refrigerator. And guess what I would say every day before I went to work? You going down. That's exactly what I said to my credit card. You are going down. Who has that kind of intensity? You are going down. You are no longer a part of my life. You are going down. And every time I had a little bit of extra money, every time I thought about doing something different, guess what? I saw that picture of this credit card, which I hated. And it wasn't just a credit card. You know what I despise? I despise looking at 24% interest. That was I just couldn't fathom. I'm paying almost a quarter of 100% every time I get a bill. That just does not work for me. Once I started to read, when's the last time you read your credit card statement? And if you read it, you'll get angry, right? And here's what most people do. Most people instead of facing their debt, They'll try to hide away from it. Out of sight, out of mind. I don't want to know how much I owe my student loans. I don't want to see my credit card debt. I'm embarrassed that I've created this debt for myself. So I don't even want to go to the mailbox. I am so overwhelmed by what I've done to myself that I can't face myself. I can't face the issues that I've created. But I'm telling you, if you get the courage to just look at it, I'm talking about look at it so that you get angry, not at yourself, but you get angry enough to do something about it, you will begin to do something about it. Just read the credit card statement, and it says something like this. Well, if you make the minimum payment, then you'll finally have the whole thing paid off in 15 years. You'll get upset. I'm going to be paying 15 years for this couch? Hats to the law. This thing is going down. That's what you say if you just face it. If you face what you have created, once you know it, once you see it now, you see it all there, then you can actually start to tackle it. But if you don't look at it, if you try to say that, hey, I don't want to see it. Hey, I'm intimidated by what I have created, Now, once you realize that you've created the debt, then it means you got to take some personal responsibility for knocking it out. Be a man, be a woman. We all call ourselves adults, but then when it comes to money, we're kids. We act like we can't deal with it. But we created the debt. We signed the contract. We signed for the loan. We got the mortgage. No one put our head up to it and said, you got to buy this house. Nobody said that you got to go after this degree. Nobody said that you got to buy the fancy new car. Nobody said that you got to have this refrigerator. We all made choices, but now we're acting like we can't face it and deal with the choices that we've made. Because it's all come to like this big snowball, right? It's no longer just $3,000, it's $30,000. And then when we think about, man, I'm only making $30,000 a year. Well, how in the hell I'm gonna tackle $30,000 in debt? That's how we're looking at it. It's just become so big, and I understand it. But what I'm saying is, if you take a moment to just gather it all together and say, you know what, today I'm going to face my finances. That's what I want everybody to say right now. I don't care if you're in debt or not. Today, I'm going to face my finances. If you, put that in the comments below. Face my finances, because it is a battle. It's a battle. The number one reason why you're still in debt is because you haven't made getting out of debt a priority. If it was a priority, then you wouldn't be spending money on the Super Bowl. If it was a priority, you would be saying, hey, you know what, honey? This year for Valentine's Day, we're going to have to cut back. If it was a priority, then you'd be having a conversation with your wife or your loved one saying, hey, this is the year we get out of debt. This is the year that we're going to do whatever it takes. We're going to take every little bit of extra that we have to go towards paying off these debts so that in a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, we can finally be free. And all of our money, all of our income, all of our hard work, all of the sweat that we put into generating this money can be ours. But you got to think of it long term. You got to say, hey, I'm willing to sacrifice now for a greater later. Again, I'm willing to sacrifice now for a greater later. Now, why am I talking about this? Because yesterday I talked about how we need to put ourselves in position for opportunity. And the reason why many of us don't find ourselves in the wealthy place, because we're never prepared for opportunities financially, because we're in debt. We don't have the money to go out and make the investment that's going to make us a millionaire, because we're in debt. We don't have the money, the capital available to us to go out and create the business and make it take off the way we might want to, because we're in debt. Face your finances. If you face it, if you have the courage to face what you have created, I'm telling you, you will get to a place where you're going to start saying to the refrigerator, you're going to start saying to the credit card that you put, the credit card statement that you put there, you're going down. That's exactly what I did. Every day before I went to work, you're going down. Right after I brushed my teeth, right after I looked in the mirror and got my confident smile on, I went to the refrigerator and told that credit card statement, you are going down. Matter of fact, you should put the credit card statement on your vision board and tell your vision board you got all these dreams about all these things that you want to have this year, but did you put getting out of debt on your vision board? Was that on your vision board? Because here's the thing, if you don't think about it, if you don't keep it in front of your eyes and you don't focus on it, it won't happen. Why? Because we become what we think about. And you can absolutely do what you put your mind to. But most people aren't thinking about getting out of debt. The only time they're thinking about it when there's a conversation like this. Oh, okay, yeah, it'd be good to get out of debt. Oh, yeah, I wish I'd get out of debt. One day it'll happen. That's not how it works. That's not how it worked when you decided to go get the car. You just say, oh, one day I'll go get the car. You don't say, no, I want the car. I'm going to go get it. That's not how it worked when you got your student loan. No, you said, I want to go get my education. So you signed for the dotted line. You went and got it. So think about it. You were deliberate and intentional in getting the debt, right? Don't you think we need to be deliberate and intentional in getting out of debt? Now, of course, it was easy to get into debt, right? It's easy to sign something, get money that's not yours and use it for whatever purposes that you use it for, knowing that you can't afford it. It's easy to do that. And here's what my mentor had told me, and here's what I share with everybody. Obviously, we know if it's easy to do, anybody will do it. But if you want your life to be easy, then do what's hard. And if you want your life to be hard, then do what's easy. So let's take that and break that down. It was easy for you to get into debt. So now you find that your life is hard. It's going to be hard for you to get out of debt. But once you do, you're going to find that your life is easy. Let me repeat that again. If you want your life to be easy, then do what's hard. If you want your life to be hard, then do what's easy. It was easy for you to get into debt, and now you find that your life is hard. It's going to be hard for you to get out of debt, but once you do, you're going to find that your life is easy. Now, what does getting out of debt, what did it do for me? Number one, it allowed me to walk away from my job because I didn't have anything overclouding me, keeping me there in this place that I didn't want to be there anymore. Number two, it opened up options. So now I could explore my dreams, my passions, the things that I want to do because I don't have any extra weight holding me back. I'm free to go and do as I please because I owe no man nothing but love. Now, I still don't live the easy life, but I'm still choosing to do what's hard. If you want your life to be easy, then do what's hard. If you want your life to be hard, then do what's easy. It's easy to get into debt. That's why you find that your life continues to be hard. It's hard to get out of debt, but once you do, you will find that your life is easy. Doors of opportunity start to open themselves up for you. Even right now, if you become deliberate in getting out of debt, you're going to find new ways to generate income. You're going to find multiple streams. You're going to find luck. You're going to find the world conspiring with you to help you get to your destination. But number one, you got to know exactly where you want to go. See, that's what happened. I told the world that this year is going to be my first paid speaking engagement. I knew exactly where I wanted to go. Now I am upon the time where I get paid for my first speech. It's a goal. You set it. Did you set getting out of debt a goal? Now, here's the deal. Getting out of debt is not a clear enough goal. That's still a wish. That's still a dream. We need to define what getting out of debt means. Getting out of debt for me means $6,523.54 paid off on this credit card. $20,125.86 on this student loan. $3,127.85 on this car loan. Define what getting out of debt really means. I want you to define it so that you know just how big it is, so you can know so you can recognize that you're going to bite this elephant. You're going to eat this elephant one bite at a time. I know how big it is now. Finally, I know how big it is. Totally. I've got it all written down. And I'm just going to start hitting away at it. Each and every day, each and every time I get an opportunity. When you keep it in front of you, and you make it a priority, then that's going to change your decisions. That's going to change what you do with your money. That's going to change what you do with your time. That's going to change where you spend your time. You're going to stop hanging around people that just want to spend money on lunch each and every day. You're going to say, you know what? That's not a part of where I'm going. I'm going to the debt-free land. I'm going to the wealthy place. So that just means that for right now, I'm eating a sandwich that I made at home. Because going out to lunch at Chipotle is making them rich. It's not making me rich. So I'm deciding I'm going to the wealthy place. I'm ready to sacrifice my now for a greater later. In other words, I'm sowing seed into my present so that I can have a harvest in my future. This is what you're saying when you make getting out of debt a priority. Now, once you get out of debt, once you start to have an abundance, once you actually start to build wealth and have assets, then you start to have options. You can start looking at things different and say, hey, I might want to take advantage of this. I might want to take advantage of that. But it all starts with you getting back to ground zero. You have to get to ground zero. That's got to be a priority for you if you're saying that you want to be prepared for opportunities when they come. Because right now, you can't say that opportunities don't come your way. All you can say is that I'm not prepared to take advantage of them. There are opportunities for other people that are prepared for them, and we call those people lucky. They're not lucky. They're just prepared for the opportunities when they come. They've got the finances to go and pay or invest or whatever they're going to do for the opportunities that come their way. The question is, do you? And the question is, are you going to put yourself in position so that you can be able to take advantage of these opportunities? The number one reason why you're still in debt is because you just haven't made it a priority. Now, you know what priorities look like. You know what your priority schedule looks like. And matter of fact, you know whether you think about getting out of debt on a day-to-day basis. You know that when you wake up, throughout the day, do you ever think about, you know what? I need to get out of debt. You know what? Let me think about let me take some time to think about some different things that I can do to tackle this debt. Is that ever part of your thought process? If not, you haven't made it a priority. If not, you haven't said to yourself that the buck stops here and it stops here right now. That's it. It's very simple. It's simple, but it's not easy. It takes you to decide first that you want to get out of debt. It takes you saying that you're going to put it on a priority level. You're going to put it above and beyond all of the things that you want to do for fun, all of the things that you want to do to entertain yourself, all of the people that you want to hang out with, if they're not on the same track that you own, just temporarily. Just temporarily. It's not forever, but it's a season. Are you willing to sacrifice a season so that you can have a lifetime of abundance? Let me repeat that again. Are you willing to sacrifice a season of your life so that you can have a lifetime of abundance? Now, here's the deal, guys. When you when you are in this place and you recognize that things are going to be a little tight for a moment, the way that you get through that is to see the bigger picture, to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And I'm telling you, once you start to pay some stuff off, you start to feel good. It don't feel good in the beginning because you're restricting yourself from all of the things that everybody else want to do. Because guess what? Everybody else is in debt. Everybody else is broke. And I'm telling you, I'm not trying to be like everybody else. See, I made a decision. I said to myself, even though America is $20 trillion in debt, I don't have to be. That's what I want you to say right now. Type that in the comments below. Even though the rest of the world is in debt, I don't have to be. And so when I go teach and I go talk to the schools, the churches, the organizations, the families, here's what I tell them. You've always been taught, or you always recite these words right here. You say, it's possible. You say it's possible. It's possible to get out of debt. Yeah, it's possible. It's possible. But here's what I really want you to say. Here's what I want you to take with you, and I want you to continue to preach this to yourself. Say this: it's possible for me. It's possible for me. Most people will say it's possible, but they never put themselves in the equation. It's possible. It's possible for anybody. What I want you to say is it's possible for me. Once you put yourself in the equation, then you start to believe it. You start to say, you know what? I can do this. It's possible for me to be out of debt. I start to see what it looks like to be out of debt. I start to feel what it feels like to not go when mail gets thin. In other words, when I go to the mailbox and there's not much there because I don't have any bills coming to me anymore. What a great feeling it is that you don't even have to go check the mailbox every day because there's really nothing in there but some coupons trying to save you some money. I'm telling you, I hardly get any mail anymore because they know I'm not getting no credit card. They know I'm not interested in any of the junk mail. So it's got to be something very fantastic for me to even open it up. Otherwise, it goes straight to the trash. But I only get 2 or 3 pieces a day because I don't have any bills coming to me anymore. Everything else is kind of automated online and things like that. But I don't have anybody calling me. I don't have any delinquent accounts and all that stuff. Yeah, saving the trees, man. So I really want you to get to a place where you are preparing for the opportunities that are to come. We talked about yesterday the economic cycles. We talked about how it's going to happen again. And the question is, will we be prepared to take advantage of it? And the number one thing that you have to do, you have to get out of debt. You have to make that a priority, and you got to make discipline a driving force in your life. There was a time in your life where you were disciplined. There was a time in your life where you could say no. I'm telling you, hey, you're not going to really lose friends, but you're going to lose some of your associates because you're going to be telling them, no, not today. And here's my favorite words. It's not in my budget. It's just not in my budget. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's the truth. Hey, going to Chipotle, it's not my budget. Not today. Nope. You want to go tomorrow? Nope. Y'all treat? Okay, I can go. It's not in my budget. I want you guys to get used to that. Saying it's not in my budget. I'm sorry, it's just not my budget. Oh, no, thank you. It's not my budget. Nope, it's not my budget. Because truly, if you're focused on getting out of debt, then everything that doesn't have to do with your living necessities and a little bit of some other things that you might want to do, it's not in your budget. That's just what it is. But again, it's only for a season. But here's what happens. Once you get out of debt and you created this habit of it's not my budget, even when you're out of debt, a lot of stuff is not going to be in your budget because you're not living that way no more because you don't want to ever go back to where you used to be. So even when you get out of debt, you're like, it's not my budget. Nope, it's not my, I can say that just as freely as I want to say it now because I've been saying it for so long. It's not my budget. No, it's not my budget. You want to go where? No, it's not my budget. So it's very important that you guys put some parameters around yourself, but it's also important that you recognize who you are and what's brought you here. And until you make getting out of debt a priority, then you'll never get out of debt. It's going to be wishful thinking. It's going to be hoping. It's going to be praying for a miracle. But guess what? Miracles really happen to people that are moving. When you start going in this direction, you start declaring what you're doing, you start actually moving there, then some miraculous things are going to happen. You're going to start finding money places, which means when I say finding money, I'm not just saying necessarily you're going to find it under your couch. That happens. But you're going to also find money in your budget. Like, hey, I don't need this no more. Hey, TV's not important to me anymore. Hey, the cable, it can get cut off for a little bit. Not a big deal. That's $50 that can go towards this credit card. Because guess what? You're paying that $50 that you don't put that towards that credit card. That's 20% extra that you pay because you decided not to put the $50 towards your credit card. Interest upon interest upon interest. And when you're in debt, you got compound interest working against you when you get out of debt. You get to a place of abundance, you got compound interest working for you. So you got to ask yourself, would I rather pay compound interest or would I rather earn compound interest? Zoe, what's up, brother?
What's going on, man? How's it going?
Yeah, you say the job says not in the budget when you ask for a raise.
There you go. Hey, if the job good enough to have a budget, then you're good enough to have a budget in your own house.
Absolutely, man. So tonight, man, I'm just talking about financial freedom, man. It's really been bugging me because, so many people talk about getting out of debt. So many talk about wanting to have financial freedom. So many people will preach on it. So many people confess it, but you never see the change happen in their life. You never see intensity take place where you see action that's leading them to the place that they say they want to be.
Yeah, you're right. Sacrifice is the key. It's just your whatever your financial goal is, you got to dig down deep. And like you say, sometimes your friends are going to be picking at you. You saying it's not in your budget to go eat, but at the end of the day, it's what you want the most. If you want to continue to live in debt, having to pay someone else first before you actually pay yourself, then you can go ahead and keep down that road. But whenever you're ready to make that change and you're ready to make those small minimum sacrifices. It may not last as long as some people think it will, but they hear the word budget and first thing come to mind is fear. I got to get rid of some things. And sometimes you may not have to get rid of things. Sometimes you just may have to tweak some things around and just rearrange some numbers. And like you say, if you have to get rid of the cable for a couple of months, then get rid of it. It ain't doing you no benefit if you're still in debt when you can be doing some other productive things to actually help you make an income, to actually help you get out of debt.
Man, one thing that I found when I was in debt and when I was broke, busted, and disgusted, this is the perfect time for you to tap into your creativity. It's funny how you can start thinking about all types of stuff, different ways that you can make money, different things that you can do to get ahead when you are broke, busted, and disgusted. And so if you're in that place, man, I wonder, are you tapping into your creativity and getting word from the inside of you on other things that you can do to accelerate the process of you getting out of debt? I'm talking about I was on a whole other level of creativity when I was broke, busted, and disgusted. Are you tapping into that power source? I think Damon John just came out of a book called The Power of Broke. He started in his mom's basement making fugu. So I'm sure he understands that process, but you can tap into your creativity and start to accelerate the process when you first decide this is where you want to go. You got to decide you want to go there first, because otherwise it's just a whim. It's just a thought. But I'm talking about people who deliberately and intentional in saying no more debt, no more borrowing. I'm going to a place that no one else in America is going. And if I got to go there alone, so be it. I don't care if I'm the only one out of debt. I'm not going to be in debt no more. Mr. Cooper, what's up, brother?
I'm great. Yourself, sir?
I'm doing all right, man. You know how I do.
Yeah, it's going on good. How about you? All right. Just like I said earlier, like that's the third time I've heard it where, the society's created to put us in debt. Whether it's student loans, credit cards, whatever it is, it's the society, especially in America, is created to keep us in debt. Right now, about a few weeks ago, I was like, can I afford to buy a car right now? Yes. Is it in my budget? No, because I'm saving up to start my business. That's my main goal. And like you said earlier, when you get to that tight place, you start thinking of creative ways how to get out of debt. One thing that I'm trying to do is I'm trying to start my business on the side so that can be a second income so I can start paying off debt. Now, when I was in high school, actually, when I was 17 years old, I had a job with a credit card company. So I was educated on APRs and all that. So I didn't have any credit card debt, growing up. What got to me was not paying my utility bills and moving from here, there, and everywhere. And, we don't pay utility bills. They put it on your credit. That was my problem. And just like you was talking about putting the credit card statement on your refrigerator, mine is my student loans. I just graduated from college, so now I got these student loans I got to pay back, and it's going to take me 10 years to pay it all. Actually, it might take me a little longer because I'm sort of stalling on that. So I totally get you when you were talking about that earlier about paying off your credit card. But one thing people have to do is, like you said, they have to set a budget. If you don't have a second income coming in or a second job or a side hustle, you need to set a budget that says, okay, this money is for this and this money is for that. Until then, you're going to still wind up in debt, because I see people in my family who believe for some reason or another that if they don't save for retirement or have some type of savings, that the government is going to take care of them. It's been proven the government is not going to take care of us. They don't have the money. They keep on talking about Medicare is bankrupt, and if things go the way that they are right now, they're going to take Medicaid away. Sorry, not Medicaid, Medicaid. Social Security, away from us. Sorry, Social Security away from us. So you can't rely on the government. You got to rely on yourself. And if you, and Evan, you talked about all the time, investing in IRAs and the mutual funds. So by the time you get to retirement, you don't have to work until you're 80 years old. You're able to enjoy the rest of your life, or sometimes even retire early.
Absolutely, man. And here's the deal, guys. Like we're saying, their job, the credit card company, the McDonald's, the world itself. Again, the United States of America is $20 trillion in debt, so they can't teach you how to get out of debt.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're in debt, that means that they owe somebody. So we don't even own America. Somebody else owns us. Right? So here's the deal, man. Why would your plan be somebody else come save me? That's a sticky situation to put yourself in and say, you know what? My plan is I'm gonna wait on Prince Charming to rescue me from my debt. That's not a plan. That's a hope. That's wish. That's a bad plan. Okay, when you got control of yourself and you can do something to save yourself.
Evan,
now, go ahead, cool.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Do you find that very prevalent with Christians? Because it seems like they don't believe in saving or investing. So it's like, you know, God will take care of me, and if I die, God's gonna take care of y'all. I'm just saying, to me, growing up in the church, growing up in a religious family, that's what it seemed like to me. So I want to get, what do you think about that?
So, all right, so you're going to get me started early. You know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about this.
You don't ask the hard questions. You know.
It's not, I don't mind. Hey, I speak my mind because I've actually read the Bible, unlike most Christians. So I'm not going to talk about all Christians. I'm going to talk about those that I've come across, because I don't know what happens in every part of the world. Every Christian is Christians, and I'm going to talk about the Western culture, but there's Christians all over the world. But here's the deal. Where I was raised is, I saw people going to church, but I saw no transformation. What that told me was they weren't reading the Bible themselves and finding what God had to say to them about whatever it is that they were looking for. So here's the deal. When it comes to finances, most people aren't looking for answers. Most people are looking for a quick resolution, but they're not looking for answers. So if you went to the church, or you went into the Bible and you said, you know what, my goal is to get out of debt, help me to find ways to get out of debt. Then guess what? You're going to start to find scriptures. You're going to get interpretation. You're going to get revelation on how you can get out of debt. But most people aren't doing that. They're not looking for answers. They're not asking so that they can receive. What they're doing is they're praying that a miracle happens and their debt gets canceled. Yes. Oh, God, thank you for debt cancellation. And here's the deal, man. Like, again, God is a God, the God that I know is a God that rewards those that can manage. If you can manage well, then he'll give you more to manage. So if for some reason you have not learned how to manage what you currently have, then how can he entrust you with more? Mm-hmm. It just doesn't. I mean, that's the God that I read about. That's the Bible that I've read. I might get some misinterpretation, but it clearly tells me in the Bible as well, when I read it, that it says that if you listen, if you hearken unto the voice of the Lord and you obey, then you will be a lender and not a borrower. So what that tells me is that us as a people who continue to borrow, that we are not listening and we're not obeying to his word. We're just doing what we want to do out of free will, and then we're asking for forgiveness. She said that I'm a pastor, and too many Christians believe being broke makes you more spiritual stewardship. So there's definitely a mentality that has to shift. There's definitely a renewing of the mind that has to happen, not just in the church, but everywhere, because we're talking about a cultural thing. We're talking about we're living in a country that lives off debt, that uses debt as a control to control the people. But then it teaches people how to use debt in order to live. So one, you got people using debt. In other words, the corporations, the people that run this country are using debt to control, and then they're teaching you to use debt to live. So it's not a Christian thing. It is a cultural thing that's pervasive in our country. Does that make sense?
Yes, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, it does.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, we all have to pay taxes. So that, if you got a job, they're going to take taxes off you, from the jump. And then when you feel like you're not making enough money, now you got to go borrow the money. And now when you borrow the money, you got to pay back the money, but you don't have enough money because they don't took the taxes out, and you're getting paid third. So, so now you feel like, where am I going to get the money from? And so instead of just having debt, then just let them go ahead and take the little bit of taxes they got, that they are going to take off to help pay off their debt. And then as a consumer, you just stay out of debt, and then you get to do the things that you want to do with your family, friends, and enjoy life. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to be a slave to the lender.
So Tamika, I definitely love to hear from you. I don't know if you want to jump in. We got Latin Trump. You said, no, it doesn't make sense. Stop agreeing with him because he talks of God. I'm talking about the word. Would you like to provide any scriptures or anything that goes against what I'm saying? Because I've read the Bible for myself, and I am able to expound on what God is showing me. So feel free, Mr. Trump. I don't mind having the conversation, and I'm not argumentative, and I'm not saying that you're wrong or right, but you haven't made a point. You're just saying that I talk of God. Well, I would love for you to talk of the word so you can enlighten us on what you've learned about finances through the word. Business is not in the church. Okay. Well, I see your point of saying that business is not in the church, right? But church itself is a business. Mm-hmm. So come again. In America, church itself is a business. It has to file taxes. It's a nonprofit organization. So church is a business.
Yeah.
Now, I understand what you're saying, that church shouldn't be a business. Mm-hmm. We shouldn't have to incorporate. We shouldn't have to be a nonprofit. We shouldn't have to not pay taxes. But church itself is a business. Yeah, you can call in, Tamisha, so you can get into a seat. So when you say that business is not in the church, then why do we continue to sell books in the church? Why do we continue to sell things in the church if church is not a business? You cheating posters bring business in the house of God.
I think that's supposed to be imposters.
Imposters? Okay, well, that might happen. We're not talking about what shouldn't happen. We're talking about what does happen. So we see a lot of crazy stuff going on in churches all across the world. Not in every church, but we see it in a lot of churches, right? We see a whole bunch of stuff happening in the church. So I don't understand where you're going with this, Mr. Latin Trump. I don't get where you're going. Are we talking reality, or are we talking what should happen? What are we talking about here? Or should I even pay any attention to what you're saying? Because I'm bringing you the reality of what we see.
Yeah, because now we're getting off the subject. We're getting off the subject of debt, and now I'm trying to focus on the point of religion instead of what we came here for.
Right? So here's what the good book says about debt. Right? It says, "Owe no man nothing but love." That's what it says. It says that if you listen to the Lord and you'll hearken unto His voice, then you'll be a lender and not a borrower. But we continue to see people being borrowers. That's what the word says. That's pretty simple to me. It says that if you're in debt, then you should run like a gazelle to get out of it. That's what the word says. Yeah. So if we're going to say, hey, let's read the word, we're going to follow the word, I think that it gives us the principles in which to abide by so that we can live a financially free life. You cannot tell me that it's God's will for you to be in debt when He continues to talk about money and how you should handle it and be a responsible steward of what He's put in your hand. Matter of fact, the parable of the talents say that you should be growing your money. You should be multiplying your money if you're going to be a good and faithful servant. Not that you should be hiding. And even if you're hiding, that means that you give back at least what you were gotten. But we're not giving back what we were given. We're doing even worse than that and putting it in a hole. Mm-hmm. We're giving God back negative, and He's saying that I've commanded you to give me multiples. So anyway, Ms. Tamika, see, this is why, if you want to have a conversation with me, please come with some word, because I got word in me. I can do this all day long. I have studied finance. This is what I do. Tamika, though, you had some good things to say. I wish that you would be able to share it because you had some things that you were saying. So now here's the other thing that the Bible tells us about, right? It tells us that, I'm not going to talk about the Bible anymore. That's not the point. The point was us to talk about being debt free and how if you want to be financially free, then you need to make getting out of debt a priority. Getting out of debt a priority. Now, you asked the question about Christians, and I was just talking about it from that standpoint. Obviously, tomorrow I'm going to talk about what the Bible says about money, because it has a whole bunch to say about money. But tonight we're talking about, man, what you need to do to really get out of debt, what you need to do in order to prepare yourself for opportunities that will come. When you're out of debt, you have options. When you're out of debt, you're free to make clear decisions as it relates to your money. Think about this. Think about when you were young, when you got your first job and you didn't have any obligations. How free was that to think about? What am I going to do with this $250? What am I going to do with this $300 that I got paid for? I just got $300 and I don't know what to do with it. You were free to make decisions, and hopefully, I don't know if you got directed in the right way to go, but you had money and you didn't have any obligations. So that gave you options. No stress. Just go live life the way you want to live it. And hopefully if you got some good direction, you start putting some of that money away. I'm not ashamed of talking about God. So Latin, if you're offended, you can leave at any point in time. I'm not ashamed about talking about God. Here's the deal. The problem is most people won't talk about God enough, and they won't talk about money enough. The Bible clearly has plenty of scriptures about money, so God is concerned about money. So no, I'm not ashamed, and nor will I ever be, because God is in me. So, we can have a brother-to-brother conversation. We can love on each other just like the Bible tells us to do, but I'm not going to be ashamed to talk about what God has called me to talk about, which is finance, which is money, which is to help people get out of debt. Now, if you think that God has a problem with me talking to people about getting out of debt, then you should be ashamed of yourself.
Ooh.
So, Mr. Success with Tony, as a pastor, it is my responsibility to not only lead people to Jesus, but to meet those daily needs, also fix past mistakes. Latin Trump, let me tell you something. Right now, because of what you just said, that was very idiotic of you. Because I can tell you that when people were begging for money, what did John say at the beautiful gate? It's money I do not have, but here is what I do have, and here's what I give you.
That was
what I give people is knowledge. So Latin Trump, at this time, I'm going to have to say bye-bye to you, because you really don't want to participate in this conversation. You want to be a troll, and I'm going to troll you out of the way. Miss Tamika Jackson, thanks so much for joining. Oh, there she goes.
I'm about to say, where's she?
Sometimes you just, here's the thing, guys. Sometimes you just gotta say bye-bye to people, because it's just not worth your time. I got my block game on fleek. That's what they say. I got my block game on fleek.
Hey guys. Good night.
Hey, what's going on, Tamisha? So you were saying, let me go back. So hold on, I know we got somebody else. We got who else? We got Tamisha. We got Success with Tony. I definitely want to hear from Success with Tony as well.
Okay, I will go ahead and jump out because I'm tired, but I enjoyed it. Evan, everything that you say, I eat it up. So I'll go ahead and jump off, and y'all have a good night. All right.
All right. Thanks so much for
sharing. Bad now?
Hey, y'all, that's Mr. Coop right now. So Success with Tony, if you're here, I'd love for you to jump into a seat as well. You have some great things to say, to add to the conversation, not to detract from it. And all we're trying to do, guys, we're trying to build as we climb together. So it's important that.
How Jonathan go call me in and then jump out?
Oh, because he wanted to make Success with Tony. So anyway, we're getting all off top. They're talking about criticizing church leaders and all this stuff. I don't know where that came from. But Tamisha, you had some things to share. You had some things that you were saying about, people that you, obviously we all have some crazy experiences when we're dealing with our kinfolk,
guys,
especially when we're trying to hopefully guide them in good direction when it comes to their money management. And money management, if we're still talking about the biblical terms, that just means stewardship, right? So we're talking about
exactly.
We're talking about money management.
Exactly. So, that's a biblical command, a biblical mandate. When we look even at the parable of the sower, okay, the master went and he gave them talents. He gave them a portion. So that talent, that could represent your skills, your abilities, your giftings, whether it's spiritual giftings or just things that you have a knack for, whether it's art or whatever. Everybody was given a portion. And, okay, that first person, they went and they doubled it. Okay, that second person, they went and they doubled it. That third person, they went and they hid what they had. And they didn't do anything with it. They just packed it away And then when the master came back, they didn't have an answer. We are responsible. Okay? Whatever we have, we're to invest it and bring a return. God is the master business person, okay? He's looking for a return on his investment, whatever he's invested in us. Look, there's a lot of unsound doctrine floating around, with people saying, "Oh, the Lord will take care of everything," or whatever. But there's practical wisdom that we have to actually go out and apply. Faith without works is dead.
It's dead.
Okay? How are we expecting God to prosper and bless us financially if we just it's kind of like that story of the woman that goes down to the riverbed and has her clothes there to wash and then prays and says, "Lord, wash the clothes." Okay? The water is there. She has soap. Wash the clothes. Use your hands. You know what I mean? Don't pray to the Lord. So it's the same kind of approach that people are taking when it comes to their finances, and it's scary. I had a consultation with a young lady yesterday, Friday. I got the shock of my life because I went to ask her, "What are your goals for the year?" Okay. So she said, I would like to help churches and so forth with my service. All well and good. I'm all for it. Okay. And then she said, I asked her if she would like to go full time with what she's doing. She said, "Yeah, I would like to." And then I asked her, "Okay, so what is your bottom line amount that you would like to make that would be enough for you to go full time?" And then she started closing up and getting all, nervous because she was just like, "I am not driven by money and this and that." Okay, yes, we're not driven by money, but at the same time, we have to have numbers that we're working with, because guess what? Your landlord or the person who you're paying your mortgage to or whatever, they have a number for you to meet. So there's requirements in terms of what we need to do financially. And then also, if we are going to be a blessing to the body of Christ as Christians, we have to have something to give. Okay? There has to be an overflow. You can't be living paycheck to paycheck. How is that going to bring glory to God? Explain that to me. Look, and there's another side to the issue. I'm on a roll right now because this is ridiculous.
Well,
there's a lot of churches out there.
Hold on now, Tamisha. We got to make sure we give everybody an opportunity to speak. So here's the deal, you know what I mean?
No, I just have one more point. After that, I'm kind of done. I'm going to hear from you guys. One more thing. There's a lot of churches out there. All they're teaching about is tithing, sowing. They have like the faith word thing going on and so forth. Okay, all well and good, believe and sow and everything. But come on now. You got to do something else beyond that. You got to go out, start a business, go out, use your talent, do something. You can sing, release an album or something. You know what I mean? So there's some practical things that need to go along with that. Don't just tell people tithe, so, give into the, and it will come back to you. Yes, the principle of giving is important, but at the same time, there's some other things that we need to be doing in order to get an increase, okay, and prosper financially. So, like, there's a lack of teaching people the principles of how to actually create wealth for themselves so they can empower themselves and have more to give back. So that's my thing. And that's one of the reasons why I am in business, so that I can actually help other Christian entrepreneurs and women entrepreneurs to really recognize where their role comes in. Yes, we pray and God is going to prosper what we do through our prayers. We're not doing it in our own strength, but at the same time, there's some practical actions that go along with that. So,
well, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm done now.
There's a whole book of the Bible on practical applications called Proverbs, right? And we got some other things of wisdom called Ecclesiastes. So we have within the Bible a whole bunch of practical application. The question is, are we applying it? And so one of the parts of discipleship is teaching one another, right? And so even what we're doing tonight, as we're talking about, money, we're talking about getting out of debt, and obviously we have a Christian component to it. We having church right now on Blab. So I'm glad that you guys are joining. Here's the thing, right? Whenever you come and join the Blab that I have, I don't pull any punches. If we end up talking about this stuff, this is what we talk about, because I believe that's what we're supposed to be talking about. And so I have no problem going this route, even though I was trying to save it for tomorrow. Mr. Who is this up here? Hey, so I want Mr. Robert Lewis. You asked about the love of money. So I really want. Let me tackle this for a second because I think people get this confused sometimes as well. Obviously, the love of money is the root of all evil. So you think about anything evil, pretty much that's happening in the world. Any wars, any bombings, any fake elections that happen, it all has to do with greed. And we know that even if we look at the stock market, there's greed and fear in the stock market. So the love of money is the root of all evil. But here's the deal. When you focus on your mission, then inherently money will come. So if your mission is, I want to build a church, then you're not focusing on how much money I can get to build a church. You're focusing on building the church and the money will come. If your mission is to feed the homeless, you're not focusing on having so much money to feed the homeless. You're focusing on feeding the homeless. That's where your love is at, and then the money will come. So the money inherently comes when we have a love or passion for serving more people. When you're focused on serving more people, you want to build a school, you want to build a hospital. Now we know that it takes money to do these things. Typically, it takes money to do these things.
Yeah,
sure does. Can't do it if you're broke.
Before you have the money, you've got to have the vision. Before you get the money, you got to have a vision. What did Noah have before 100%. He built the Titanic? He had a vision of what exactly the Titanic was supposed to look like. The first ever Titanic, he got a vision from God, and then he built it. So he got the resources or the wealth in order to build the Titanic. He had the vision first. So why are we saying this? Why am I talking about this? Because there are people here right now who are trying to figure out how they can make more money. And before you ask me that question, as your finance coach, as your personal finance coach, my first question to you is going to be, what is your vision? Let me repeat that again. Before you come to me and ask me about how you can make more money, my response to you is going to be, what is your vision? The vision that you build, you create, that you work towards will bring you the provision that you need to accomplish the goal. Does that make sense?
Yep. And that kind of goes back to like another kind of what every really good coach talks about, your why. Because my thing is, sometimes people have this fantasy, okay, I want to be a millionaire or I want to be a billionaire or whatever. They're just pulling a number out of nowhere, but it's in no way connected to any kind of a vision. If you really have a vision that calls for $1 million and it's a compelling vision, trust me, you're going to find a way to make that, okay? Because you have a purpose behind it. Don't just pull a number out of nowhere. You know what I mean? Your vision.
Most people that say they want to be a millionaire can't even envision being a millionaire. If you ask them to write out $1 million on
exactly.
paper, they wouldn't even be able to put enough zeros behind it to get to $1 million.
Exactly. And they have no purpose. They have no purpose whatsoever behind why because it just seems like the cool thing. It seems like the end thing. You know what I mean? There's no solid backing. There has to be a strong, compelling why behind why you're going to make whatever money. You know what I mean? When I say I want to build a 6-figure business, there's specific reasons why. You know what I mean? I'm not just making up a number. It's based upon what my vision and my purpose is. So it's to finance that.
Yeah, and then you can. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Joe.
And you can still, you know what I'm saying, try to get that million. It's about keeping, you know what I'm saying, the million to work for you. But just think about it. A person making $10 an hour will at some point in life come through $1 million, even if they're just making $10 an hour for 40 years. You see what I'm saying? Or I'm sorry, 80 years, as some of us will live around that time. But, you know, working until 80, none of us wants to do. So, you know, our paycheck and so forth will eventually go up. But it's not how much you're actually going to, you know what I'm saying, make. It's just how much you're actually going to keep to work for you. So just having $1 million, then just say I can just splurge it, then you're going to lose it. And then now you got to figure out how to get that $1 million again.
And here's the deal, guys. I know plenty of millionaires that are still living paycheck to paycheck. So don't get it twisted to think that when we say 70% of Americans living paycheck to paycheck, that it doesn't include millionaires, because it absolutely does. There are millionaires that are currently living paycheck to paycheck. Once they stop shooting the ball, once they stop using the bat, once they stop catching the football, they're going to be broke just like you and me, because they haven't learned how to manage what comes into their hands. So obviously we're talking about management. And when you can learn how to manage a paycheck, then that makes you fit to be able to say, I can manage a fortune. If you don't know how to manage your paycheck, how could you ever expect to manage a fortune? That's why you see people who get rich quick, who win the lotto, back broke again, because they aren't to manage that type of money. Some of you guys don't know how to manage your personal finances, but you're saying, I want to manage some business finances. How does that make sense? How are you going to do well in your business if you can't do well on your personal? And the only reason why you're even good at business is because someone is commanding you to do a job. So you're great at accounting, but you're great at accounting for someone else. But when we look at the accounting for your own personal finances, out of whack, because there's like this connection to, hey, I got to do a good job because I'm getting paid for it, but I'm not going to do a good job for myself because there's no monetary value connected to it. This is the craziest thing that I have accountants that I coach who are broke. You are an accountant, but you only do accounting when you get paid for it, but you won't do it for yourself. So I don't know where I'm going with this, but the whole reason why we got on here today, we wanted to talk about financial freedom. So obviously we're talking about some things that you need to consider if you want to be financially free. And the number one reason for those that showed up late, why you're probably in debt right now, why you're still in debt, is because you haven't made getting out of debt a priority. When you make it a priority, you say, hey, it is a priority for me to get out of debt. I'm putting this at one of the highest places on the totem pole. Then guess what? The world is going to start working with you to help you reach your goal. See, right now the world is helping you to be in debt because that's what you want to do. You might say something different, but the reality is your actions tell what is the truth, while your mouth is talking about what is your perception. The truth is in what you do on a day-to-day basis. So if you aren't reading any financial books, if you're not continuously getting on talks like this, if you don't have any financial wisdom coming into your storehouse, then how in the world can you expect to output some financial success? Everybody with me there?
Garbage in, garbage in, garbage out.
Garbage in, garbage out. So some people are saying, I want to get out of debt, but you haven't read, it's now February, and you haven't read one financial book in January, but you made a New Year's resolution that you were going to get out of debt. You're not learning anything about getting out of debt. Does that make any sense? If you said that, hey, I want to learn how to do hair, you're going to start going to school for hair. So let me ask you this. When are you going to start going to school for wealth? When are you going to start going to school for debt cancellation? When are you going to start going to school for appreciation in your life for finances? Now, one of the places you can go to school is a good book. It has a whole bunch to say about money, but there's other places that you can go. I'm just saying.
I got you.
Listen, the principles are the principles, and that's going to stand. It's going to be there. It's going to be there in the Bible. It's going to be there any good financial advisor, because the principles themselves, they are universal and they're going to stand. So if we start lining ourselves up, lining our actions up with what that is, we're going to get the results. Same thing with business. Same thing with getting out of debt. Same thing with any goals that we set. So
here's the deal, guys. If you are currently saying that I'm going to face my finances this year and getting out of debt is a priority for me, then I want you to write your why in the comments below. Why do you want to get out of debt? Why? Why is it important? Why do you want to get out of debt? Do you have the courage enough to tell us why? What's your why? Having a why is going to help you when that temptation comes to go back to your old way. What is your why? So this is so Coop, when you say freedom, what does freedom feel like? Oh, see, here's somebody that's being honest. He said he doesn't have a good why yet.
Everybody should have a good why.
Look at that. So I can retire in 2019 from the federal government. Liberating and freedom are the same words, Mr. Coop. What is your why? If you're saying that I want to be financially free, why?
Why?
Now, I'm not going to say that your why isn't strong enough, it's not big enough. I don't know what your why is. Oh, I know for me, you have to think. That's cool. And that's the whole point, right? You know, whenever I do a blab, I want to get you to think, because when I can get you to think, that means you're engaged in your own process of success. What is your why?
Well, I can go ahead and let everybody know my why. My why is time. Because right now, with me having a job, with me having a business and other businesses, time is consumed with me trying to basically produce more money. But with the money working for me, with me being in that financial freedom state, then now the money is consistently making money for me, which means that I now have time to do the things that I want to do with family, friends, and associates. And I don't have to worry about, getting up Monday through Friday at 6, 5, 7, o'clock, going to punch a clock, even though I like, doing what I'm doing on my job, since I like helping people at the hospital and so forth. But I have a choice then if I want to go to work or if I want to help anybody and actually get paid for it. So for me, the reason for financial freedom is time. Getting time.
Your time is probably, you can't, the one thing you can't get back, you can't replace is time. You can replace money. So you want to be an option, not something I have to do to pay bills. You want to work because you want to work, not because you have to work. Okay. Exactly. I'm looking for something right now. Miss Tamisha, you got anything to say? You can talk to us while I'm finding what I'm looking for.
Wait, I haven't spoken enough already.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? Whenever there's a woman in the building, I just shut up. I learned the easy way.
You know what? You've been taught well. You've been taught well.
All right, so here's how I found it. Money only represents how you spend your time. So let me ask you this, guys. You're saying some of you guys don't know why. You got to think about it. Some of you guys have a why and you have a strong why. Let me ask you this. If you are truly serious about becoming financially free, what are you feeding your mind? What are you feeding your mind? This is a gold mine right here. You got a gold mine. It's going to help you to come up with all these creative things. It's going to help you come up with all these, a solution to your problem. But my question is, if we're feeding it garbage, then we're diluting the power that is within us. So what are you feeding your mind? You read the Bible? Okay, that's great. That's awesome.
Yeah, Tamika said it earlier, garbage in, garbage out. So, it's basically self-awareness of wanting to learn different things, not being stagnant of just depending on somebody else to inform you on something. You know what I'm saying? It's good to just learn on your own, So
I love it. So I just see so Raz Rising, you said last all remember credit rating in hell or heaven, so do not kill yourself paying off debt just so you say you did it. Well, here's what I would say to that, Raz, and I value your opinion, I do, but here's the deal. That if you are in debt, and you said you don't know why, and I would think that your why is pretty plain and simple. But if we say that we want to be in position that we want to leave an inheritance to our children's children, if you are in debt, then you're leaving debt to your children's children, or you leaving debt to the next generation. You're leaving them with an obligation or responsibility they got to take care of, because basically what you're saying is, I didn't take care of my finances while I was here on earth, so I'm going to leave you the responsibility to take care of it when I die. I'm going to leave you the responsibility to take care of my estate. Whatever state my estate is in when you get it, it's on you now.
True.
So
yeah, that's not a good legacy.
So you can have a trust fund, right? But if you have debt along with the trust fund, you're going to use the trust fund to take care of the debt. So again,
the creditors are always going to be there. They're going to come take theirs even when you go.
So I get your point, and I'm not saying that don't do a trust fund. What I'm saying is, we're talking about being in debt, and there's a principle that you got to get intense in order to get out of it. If you're lackadaisical about getting out of debt, then you don't want it bad enough, and that's totally fine. That might be you. You're saying, hey, I don't care about getting out of debt. That's cool. We're having a conversation. But for many people, and of course, you could be in a place where you only got $2,000 in debt. You're good. Like, it's not a big deal. But we're talking to all different gamuts of people here. So that's why I'm saying I value your opinion, because I don't know where you stand. But there are plenty of people, they got to kick it into gear in order to get to a place where they have the discretionary income to build that trust fund. They got to kick it into gear so they have some excess in order to do more with it. Raz Rising, my man, what's going on, brother?
Yeah, what's up, man?
I'm glad
you're
fixing it.
Huh?
I'm glad you're able to join.
Yeah.
Before you respond, let me finally read what I was looking for. So here's the deal. It was I'm going through this series called How Rich People Think. So this is an excerpt from the series. It says that that having money, it means that you have the ability to do what you want, when you want, with whom you want, for as long as you want, without limitations.
There you go.
This means that you have the ability
that's my way.
to do what you want, when you want, with whom you want, for as long as you want, without limitations. Here's what financial freedom, here's what the wealthy place grants you, disability based off this book. But anyway, go ahead, Mr. Raz Rising. You have an interesting point, and we really need to talk this thing out, brother.
Oh yeah. Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. My only thing is, most people I hear talking about paying out debt and stuff like that. They pay for the wrong reason. Most of the people just pay to say they're out of debt. Like I've seen people, living on minimum wage, trying to pay off $50,000 worth of debt. When if you have that money, you could have put yourself in a business, get comfortable, then start paying it slowly. You see, instead of killing yourself, doing it right now when you actually not living life, because we can die tomorrow, and that's what I say. There's no credit rating in heaven or hell. So
here's what I would say to that, Mr. Raz Rising. So you made a good point, but you can still live life where you can still live life. You don't know when you're going to die, but that doesn't mean you don't stop trying to put your next generation in a good position. So even though you could be at a minimum wage job, you could be working hard to pay off this debt that you'd accrued. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're not living life. It just means that you're more creative with how you live life. I'm doing a lot of free stuff. I'm at the arts and crafts club drawing art for free. I'm using the Living Social to get get all this stuff, so I can still be living. Once again, you get creative when you get to a desperate place, and you still find a way to entertain yourself, enjoy friends and family. Instead of going out to eat, you might have a picnic. There's a lot of different ways you can still be living life and enjoy yourself on a budget. So let's not say that they're killing themselves.
No, I'm not even talking about like enjoying yourself, like living life. That's what I didn't mean. I just meant like there's people who work 2 jobs, like they actually struggle more just to pay debt and even after they finish paying debt, they don't even take more debt to do something with that. So I'm like, what are you doing it for?
They just make a New Year's resolution.
Like it's a New Year's resolution. Like how many people do you know? I know a lot of people, especially in my community, because I'm from Kenya, and in Kenya we don't really right now we have people are starting to use the credit, but we raised on basically 100% cash. That I've even come here, and a lot of Kenyans here in America, people are doing good, having good careers and, perfect credits, and they're not using it to make more money with it. So that's what I'm saying. A lot of people and, a lot of people are taught about, getting out of debt, and it's kind of status symbol, like just to say, I don't have any debt. But I'm like, okay, what are you doing? Me and you are living the same life, And I'll give you example for myself. Like I have student loans and I have small debts, but at the end of the day, I open another entity, and there's no bank. Banks say no to banks say no to giving me loans on my personal, credit. But when I come in towards my business accounts, I always get credit from my business side.
Yeah, so
and that's what rich people do. It's not about rich people don't have debts, because like Donald Trump, that guy filed bankruptcy 4 times and started new businesses. Rich guy.
I don't know if he's a robot.
Hold on a second, because we got to clarify this. So if we're going to go into this space, we got to clarify this, right? So it's the difference between talking about personal debt and business debt. Business debt you're using as leverage. So what we're talking about is personal debt. When Donald Trump files bankruptcy, he files bankruptcy on his businesses. He doesn't file bankruptcy on his home, on his personal stuff. So
yeah, but
so we got to clarify this so that people that are listening, they understand what you're saying. You creating debt on your business side. So that's a whole nother person. That's a whole nother entity.
Yeah, exactly. But most of these people, they also file file on their personal ones, because most of them, actually what I'm gonna do at the end of the day, as soon as I get my stuff, I'm basically gonna kill my personal side. Because I do business, I'll basically start doing business on my name, like doing business as, and I can kill completely my personal side. And that's why you see most people, that's why most people basically end up living in a company with. And that's exactly what 50 Cent did.
Yeah, absolutely.
He filed bankruptcy. People think he filed bankruptcy on his business, but his name, his business runs on his name. So basically, he couldn't even be attacked on the money he has on the bank, because basically, he used loopholes, and the money that he has on the bank is basically on his business side, not on his personal side. So there's ways you can kill it. But my main point was just to say, I hate seeing people struggling, saying, I'm going to be debt free, when I'm like, you paying all this money when you can start something else, even if it's a small business, and figure out how to make more money before you start giving more money out. You're already in debt because you took more money out, and now the little money you get in, you still giving it away. So even when you finish paying your debt, you still be check to check. So you haven't really helped yourself. For me, if I can save $10 every week to pay my student loans, I'd rather postpone my student loans, take that $10 and try to make it to $20. Then when it gets to $20, I can start paying $5 out of that to the student loan. I guess it's just working smarter than, just giving all your money away and struggling, trying to do stuff like that.
Well, I would venture to say that if we were working smarter, we wouldn't be in debt in the first place.
But they stuff like student loans. You can't say people are not smart like me.
Exactly.
I lost my job. My job went down, and that's how I got student loans. I used to pay my first 2 years. I paid for myself working at Subway, and that's where minimum wage was like $7. So when my job went down, I went back and took student loans and went and finished my degree. So it was a smart move, because it was then be a stripper, and I'm a boy, so I can't be a stripper. So there's always ways. There's nothing wrong to taking debt, and that's the other problem. People think debt is bad. That's the thing. Debt is not bad, personal or business, as long as you use it to make something better of yourself. Like me, they can never take the education they gave me. That student loans I took, it put something in my head. They can never take that away.
Well, I would venture to say, obviously we're talking about strategy, right? And we're going to say that, hey, they can't take my education from me, right? But that same education, I didn't necessarily have to pay all those $1,000s for either. There's other ways, alternate ways for you to get your education. There's a lot of things, Mr. Raz, that you don't have to pay someone to get. So let's not act like there's not alternative ways in order to get your education. Here's the deal. Many of you guys that are probably here are probably some type of business owner. Many of you guys, being in your business, had to learn a whole bunch of stuff in order for you to run your business. Whether you're an investment person, whether you are a coach person, whatever, right? So let's just say right now, like before I got into business, I didn't know anything about editing videos, so I could put good stuff out there for people to see. Now I learned it on my own. Now I do it, and I got experience in it. Did I have to pay $10,000 in order to learn how to be a video engineer? No. Can I put that on my resume and leverage my skill? Yes. So we can't just say, okay, I got all this debt to get an education. That's one of the myths that we've been taught here in America that we got to go into debt to get an education, and that is not true. You can learn a whole
you
bunch
don't have to. You don't have to get in debt. It depends on everybody's situation, and that's what I'm saying. Like if you're in a position that you can take debt, there's nothing wrong with that when you put in it's an investment, because basically I invested in my education. Like right now I can go and get a job if I want to and start paying it off. So it was an investment. And that's what people need to learn about. There's bad debt and there's good debt. There's people who take debt to put like what you were saying earlier, to put like Super Bowl parties and stuff like that. There's no return on that. I got a return on my debt.
So I'm agreeing with you there. What I'm saying is that you got to have a plan at the end of the day. When you went to school and you got that debt, you had a plan behind it. Here's the deal. We know that people do that. They start out with a plan, right? That plan doesn't work. Then they start working. Then they say, hey, I'm just going to go back to school and I'm going to get more debt. They come up with another plan. They don't have a fully thought out plan on how they're going to leverage their education once they get it. We got tons of people out here who have so much debt in student loan debt and have not leveraged any of the education. Not they don't have the education, not that they didn't learn anything, not that they didn't finish school. They haven't learned how to leverage their education in order to generate a sizable income to pay that off. So I get what you're saying. You got to have a plan. Yes, you can call in, man. I'm pretty sure. It looks like Tamisha's kind of just typing away. Maybe she's going to jump off. I totally agree.
I'll come on and let him come on and join.
It looks like Tamisha's just what?
You better stop that.
All right, but I agree with you. I agree with you, Raz. You obviously went into it with the plan. You didn't go into it and say, I'm just going to go to school just to go to school. You probably had an idea exactly what you wanted to go to school for. You probably had an idea exactly what you wanted to do once you got out of school. Even though you might not be using it now, you went in there with a plan. And so that, obviously we're talking in generalities. Everyone isn't in the same boat.
I was about to jump out and let Robert come in.
Yeah, Robert was coming.
I was going to jump out and let Robert come in, but where did he go?
What's going on, Robert?
But anyway, just to kind of concur with what what's your name? Raz?
Robert.
Raz?
You can call Evans. Yeah.
Evans?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically to kind of go with what he was saying, I think we really have to be strategic about our debt repayment plan, because my thing is, yes, you want to get out of debt, but at the same time, you want to be able to position yourself where you can actually put aside some of that money that you're earning. Let's say you have a job now, and you have this amount, like $500 of disposable income. So you want to be able to say, well, I am going to put aside, $200 to actually invest in a business that's going to give me a return, that I can build a six-figure business out of that, double it, triple it, do something with that portion. And then I'm going to put this 300 instead of just kind of indiscriminately putting everything in paying off the credit cards. Remember, that's dead. That debt, you're never going to get a return off of that. So you don't want to just carelessly just throw everything into the debt repayment. You know what I mean? Yes, you want to pay your minimums and so forth, but you don't want to just put everything in without having a thought. So you really have to be strategic. So I kind of wanted to kind of add in my little 2 cents there. So basically what he was saying in terms of people just paying debts just to pay debt, but you kind of have to think ahead and think about your goals and so forth, because it's good to pay off your debts, but at the same time, if you want to put yourself in a much better position, let's say the next 12 months, the next year after that, there's going to be some other things that you got to do besides just paying off your debt. You want to actually increase your income on the other hand. You know what I mean? So if you can invest a portion of your discretionary income, boom, you're going to get the best of both worlds.
So Robert, I'm gonna let you in just a second, man. So I hear what you're saying, but I don't necessarily agree that it's good advice. And here's the deal. Yes, you want to earn more money, and you basically the wealth formula is simple: earn more, spend less, right? but you've already accrued this debt that whatever the percentage of interest that you're paying on top of it is going against your net worth. So while you're trying to build a business or whatever it is that you want to do with this investment that you're doing, you got all of this negative net worth that's going against you. And if you're not, you can be strategic, but you got to be fearless in going after your negative net worth. Because no matter what you build,
Listen,
don't build it to a point. And again, there's a difference between personal debt and business debt. Totally different. So if we're talking about building a business, well, that's going towards business debt. I'm talking about personal debt. So we could.
well, I'm not even talking about. I wasn't even talking about adding more debt. Period. I'm just talking about if you have a sum of debt.
I didn't say adding more debt. I said that you have this,
whether business or personal. I'm just talking about in terms of paying off your debt. If you want to start a business, I wouldn't say wait until you pay off. That's just my opinion, and I'm not going to change that opinion. I'm not going to say wait until you pay off all your debts, all your student loans or whatever, before you start acting on that business or your idea, whatever. Because my thing is that business or that idea, that's connected to your purpose. You need to be doing that regardless. You can't let the fact that you're not completely out of debt stop you from starting.
Right. So I don't think
start where you are.
I don't think that we're disagreeing. You start from where you are. Well, I don't think we're disagreeing at all.
Start where you are. Exactly.
Yeah. So, but you can be working in your purpose and it has nothing to do with business.
Well, I'm just talking about.
You can, but I'm saying you're saying it's connected to your purpose. That's not necessarily true. If you have multiple streams of income, it may not necessarily be attached to your purpose. You could love to sing and not have a desire to have an album. I'm sorry, Raz. Let me let you in.
I get what you're saying. Let's not belabor that point. But what I'm really trying to say is, if you're to start a business, start the business now, not like later when you pay off all your business. You have a good business. When you've paid off all your bills or whatever, you have a good business idea. Act on it now. That's all I am saying.
Right, and I agree with you. Act on the business idea, but what I'm saying is this. A lot of us, we're in debt because we act right now without thinking. Right? A lot of us say, hey, I want the car, let me get the car, boom, sign a debt. We act. And I'm saying, yes, if you have an idea to work towards it, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have money to start on it. It doesn't necessarily mean that you can't get investors to help you once you fully develop a plan. There's a lot of ways to start a business. You act on it, you start putting your energy towards that idea. That doesn't necessarily keep you from continuing to be fearless towards paying off your debt. So you absolutely could be doing both at the same time. And over time, you got a business started that may not have cost you any of your own personal capital because you got a good plan and you got people that can invest in your plan. There's a lot of ways to start a business. Robert, what's going on, man? I see you've been patient. I know you got some things to add, man.
Yeah, just real quick. Don't want to be disrespectful, but good evening to everybody. You can hear me, correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So, Evan, just on this last point, I agree with you. Delayed gratification is the key. And before we do anything, we truly have to measure the cost of what it takes. Nowadays, with this internet, and this is a perfect example, I see people all around the world and in the country of the United States talking. We really need to stop or change the mindset that we have to get in a lot of debt to make money. The internet is kind of, for lack of a better term, leveling the playing field and knocking down the barriers to entry. So my point, and the reason I called in, just talking with my wife earlier today and my son, who's going to be 21, Lord say the same this year, but 750 credit scores. I'm not going to make about me. The point is education. And a lot of us are coming from generational debt. I heard that term. And so I like to say this, when you know better, you have to do better. Platforms like this are awesome. Practical things. When these kids are younger, 12, 13, and 14, we got to start teaching them how to, balance a checkbook. They're not teaching anything in school, common sense type things. My son, 2 years ago, straight out of high school, every major credit card company is sending him debt. Just to give you a little background about me, I don't owe anybody, But you know what? You have to live beneath your means to get there, especially if you're the first generation. Because like you guys said earlier, I'm passing this on to my son. And when he gets the ball, for lack of a better term, I'm expecting him to take it to the next level. But somebody had to sacrifice and start, right? So we can get there. I'm teaching him how to fish, and I'm talking to him daily. We all are living in these bodies, and our flesh wants everything that we see. I heard you guys talking about the word earlier, and we have to fight that, delay gratification, because the devil is in the details. I'm in finance. I see people all the time, and I like this idea. You judge a tree by the fruits that it bears, not what it's saying, but what it does. And I see people all the time that look like $1 million, and just like you said, Evan, if the check stop, you in trouble because you leverage to the hilt, right? So education, that's how we stop getting in debt. Got to teach them early. You got to say, no, you can't have that right now. My boy's about to buy his first duplex. Why duplex? So you can rent out one side and live for free. That's an investment.
Yeah,
right. But he's 20, right? So by the time he gets to my age, we you see what I'm saying? We changed the mindset, the paradigm, right? Mm-hmm. Young brother Ross, I feel you, man. I like your style. I hear what you're saying. No disrespect. Only thing I would say to you is this. We got to kill this education thing. College is not for everybody, and it's a business. Folks are getting out of school. It is a business. I do loans. I do mortgage loans, right? I just looked at somebody today, $115,000 in student loan debt, and their job is $40,000 a year. You could come off the block and do that math. That don't make sense. Investment. Yeah, that's and there's a lot of people making that investment, young brother. Trust me.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
yeah, I know.
YouTube, online, stuff like this. This is a great topic. Not to be discriminatory, but folks that look like me, we need to get this.
Absolutely. So, in case, Robert, I'm glad to see that you're in the financial sector. In case you guys don't know, I know many of you guys do know, I'm a certified financial educator, and this is what I do. I go in and I go to the schools, I go to the churches, I go to the families, I go to the organizations, I teach kids about money. That is why I do the conversations that I have about getting out of debt, living financially free, taking your life to the next level, accumulating assets, wealth accumulation. Raz, you know, we're in the group New Black Wall Street. This is what we talk about. You know, so this is why me and Raz, we go way back. That's why we can have a conversation like this. And Tamisha, thank you so much for joining. But you're right. It comes down to, a lot of people say this: if you know better, you do better, and that's just not true. Many people know better and still don't do better. So it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to do with your know. It has a lot more to do with what you do. If you know better and you do better, right? Then you put yourself in a good place. And then now you've learned, and now you can teach someone else. A lot of us just go by what we have heard and what someone else's lifestyle, but we haven't applied it to our life so that we can bear the fruit that we see other people see. So it's great that you guys are on here and sharing this, man, from all these different perspectives. I'm sure that everyone that's watching is getting so much from it. As we're talking about, guess what? We're talking about what a lot of us don't talk about, and that's money.
Money.
I think that
you know, Evan, if I may, I'm glad you brought the religious side into it, because accountability is a bad thing, man. Everybody wants to be the man till it's time to make the decisions. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so accountability is I'm sorry, bro.
I said, yeah, I know.
Yeah. So a lot of us need to grow up, because when you have to be accountable for the decisions you make, what am I saying? Some practical stuff. Like I said, start the kids early, teaching them. One quick thing, if you have a credit card, because like Raz is saying, if you look at the FICO system, right, you got to always have one line of revolving credit debt, right? Doesn't mean you have to put money on it, but then you put that child that doesn't even know it when they're 14 as an authorized user. By the time they're 18, their credit is through the roof. You see what I'm saying? Little simple stuff like that, because it's a part of the toolbox that you have to take advantage of. But as far as getting into debt, hey, man, you are a slave when you're in debt. You see? Yeah. And just like you said, Evan, when you got time, man, you could be creative. I've learned how to do Photoshop, Adobe After Effects, all online, man. And they folks are going to school.
YouTube is the best.
Yeah, but see, I got time. You see, I don't have to go like the young brother that got off earlier. I don't have to go punch in the clock. That's a blessing. You see what I'm saying? That's a blessing. So we just need to divorce ourselves from all of this stuff. We look rich, but I'm in Texas. They say you got a big hat and no cattle. We need some cattle and some land. That's where the money's at.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Raz.
Actually, what Robert say, like one credit I had is credit cards, but I had it because nobody taught me how to use it. You know, I came here when I was, I landed in America when I was 17, and that's about like 15, 16 years ago. But nobody, I wish my parents knew, but my parents did.
17, man.
Got the good genes, Rob.
That's the Kenyan genes, man. Yeah, but you see, so nobody told me anything about credit, and American school, they don't teach any finance. So if I knew what I know right now, I could have, built my credit up, and right now I could have been doing like a lot of things, like my business. I could have been getting credit lines, to move on. Like actually one of my biggest stories is when I went back to school after the company I used to work for went down. As I was getting my student loans, I was doing my stock market. That's when I was learning, and I got a good, like I got lucky because I can really, right now what I know, I got lucky that time, and I got a good amount of money, and I tried to buy land in North Georgia, and that was just after the financial crash. So all the banks were like had this crazy new rules and stuff, and the only reason they couldn't give me the house, a 50,000 10 acre house with land for 50,000 with 10,000 down is because I didn't have credit, and that was showing that I'm starting to pick up student loans. So like if you're trying to do stuff like that, then I can understand you trying to pay the small credit. If you have some little debt you're trying to pay, so you can do stuff like that. Maybe if you're still young and you're still planning on buying a house, buying a car, stuff like that, leasing stuff. But for people who already past that age, you're not planning on ever buying a house for 30 years so you can do not kill yourself paying, certain kinds of credit, because you can still live life. You can still start any kind of business by opening another entity separate from you. Then after you feel like, if you're comfortable and you feel like now you can start paying the debt for whatever reason you want to do it, then you can go back to that side. And that's basically what I'm planning on for myself, because I basically went and did my business degree, and I still haven't got a job because I'm still doing stocks since 2010, and I'm still living comfortably to the part that I'm building my businesses, and I'm sure as soon as my business place I'm comfortable, I'll start paying them off. I'll start paying the student loans off so I can get a better credit and get bigger credit lines. But other than that is I just don't know. People. It depends on what kind of decision you make. I'll let you, Robert. Like I see you got a comment.
No, and I'm off after this, Roz, and I hear what you're saying, man, and I appreciate it. You especially coming from outside of the U.S. because everything here is about material, man. It's about what you see, money. But you said something when I was listening. That's an asset, brother. You learn how to live on what you got. You had to balance your checkbook every month, cash.
Yeah,
but
that's how we live with cash.
Right, but when you're in this system, it's a tool, just like Evan is saying. You couldn't take advantage when everybody was afraid to buy. That's when you buy when it's low, when stuff goes bad. But see, you didn't have the ability to move because you didn't understand the system, because your credit wasn't right. You could have had $1 million. I run into people like that all the time, cash rich. So you have to understand. It's like when you're in Rome, you got to do like the Romans. It's about credit here. And I'm telling us, they're writing these rules and laws. The devil is in the details, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm seeing collection agencies getting rogue with folks. We have to go in, like you said, Ross, if you did it, it's not an indictment against you. You're not a bad person. Whatever happened, right? But now, like the Bible says, today, when you hear the word of the Lord, harden not your heart, repent, right? You're getting this good information. You need to go in and start getting your credit together. I mean, you're not going to be able to get a passport in a minute. they clamping down, man. They tightening up on stuff.
Now I get my passport. I'm not American yet, so I'm
well,
good.
but you're different. But I'm just saying a lot of things that we don't understand that Evan is talking about. That's why this topic is paramount, because you have to get out of debt. It's important. It's vital. And I'm out after this, guys. Y'all have a good one. Good evening.
Hey, so that's cool. So make sure you guys give Robert some props for sharing his thoughts. Of course, if you're liking what he's saying, make sure that you follow him. And here's the deal, guys. There is a lot happening as it relates to money, the financial system, the economic system, which, quite frankly, most Americans are unaware of. And they just, unless they become aware, they're going to have to fall under the rules, whether they know them or not. It's just like the tax system, right? Most people don't know all the tax codes, but guess what? When you break a rule, you will be sent to court, regardless of whether you know the rule or not. Well, that's the same thing that happens in the finances. So, of course, most of us aren't going to know all of the rules because we're not in that vein. That's not our specialty. That's not what we specialize in. We know all of the rules for the things for which we do. But what I tell people is that money is a major piece to the life puzzle. So you need to take some time to learn all that you can about that which you use on a regular basis. I mean, why not? It makes sense to me. And so, I'm sorry, I don't do eggs, by the way. So if you can't show your face, you do not get a seat with me. Sorry, got to get rid of the eggs around here. All right, so here's the deal, guys. So I'm talking about tonight, the whole topic was financial freedom. So obviously one of those places is getting out of debt. We've also added some things in with our conversation tonight, talking about earning more money. Obviously, the wealth formula is to earn more and to spend less. It doesn't change. It will never change. Earn more and spend less. These are principles that are timeless, that have been around for over 2,000 years. And so if the principles are there, then it's up to us to find the principles and then to apply them to our life. It's not just enough to read it and say that was good. It's important that we apply them. That's why they're there, for us to use them. So your question has to be for yourself. If you find yourself not using them, is why not? Do you think that they don't work? Do you think they're not for you? Why are you not using the wealth principles that have been laid out in front of you that were here before you were even born? For some of us, we don't know what those principles are. We were never taught them. For generation upon generation upon generation, that teaching or education doesn't flow down to our tree. But with the age of the internet, with the information age that we're in,
that's exactly what it is.
You can find it. So you gotta be a person that says, I'm going to ask, I'm going to seek, and I'm going to knock. And by any means necessary, I'm going to put myself and my family in a great financial position. You're going to be dealing with money until the day that you die. Why not become a master at it? Let me repeat that again. Right. You're going to be dealing with money until the day that you die. Why not become a master in it? Money is a major piece to the life puzzle. So in case you guys don't know, again, I am a certified financial educator. I go into schools. I go into churches. I go into organizations. I go talk to the families, and I teach them about money. Teen best, kid best, and adult best. It doesn't matter. I teach everybody. Of course, I focus on the kids because I realize that the Joshuas are what's going to take us into the promised land. So that's where my focus is. So, of course, I've been working hard and diligently trying to make sure that we continue to get this message out that we're sharing with you today. And hopefully you've been enjoying tonight. I just did this on the spur of the moment. I was tired of seeing people not take action. And I want you to be a person that's going to take action. I want you to be a person that say, I'm going to kick this debt in the butt. I want you to be a person that say, I'm going to face my finances. At the very least, I want you to, after this call, wherever you are, I want you to look at yourself in the mirror. And I want you to look at your finances. I want you to know where you stand. Once you know where you stand, holistically, as it relates to your money, as it relates to your debt, as it relates to your investments, as it relates to your 401k, whatever it is that you have, all of your money, once you know where you stand, then you can decide where you want to go from there. See, many of us don't know where we are. We don't know our starting point. You need to know where you're at. And then you want to decide where you want to go, because once you look at where you're at, you're going to say, hey, I like where I'm at, or I don't. And some of you guys are saying, I don't even need to look. I know I don't like where I'm at. but I want you to understand where you're starting from. When you get in the car and you put in the GPS, you got a starting point position and you have a landing position. Most of us are not taking care of the basics of knowing where am I starting from. Know where you're starting from. Tamika, you sitting down there, you got something to say? Got something to add?
No. Well, I mean, I did at some point, but yeah, the moment has passed. The moment has passed. I'm just kind of listening to what you're saying. Yeah.
So hopefully
at this point,
that's cool. So hopefully we were able to help. Tomorrow I'm gonna be on in the morning talking about what the Bible says about money. So you guys heard a little bit about what I'm going to be. I got some other stuff I'm gonna be saying, but I'll be doing that tomorrow. I realize that everybody doesn't go to church, and I'm one of those people. I understand why some people don't go to church, because I get tired of being around people who don't do what the Bible say. They just talk about it. I want to be around people that's going to do some stuff. But that just may be anybody. It could be any reasons why you might not go, but you read the Bible. So that's me.
Well, first we have to be those people that do something, you know.
Well,
like first we have to be those people that actually act on the word.
Absolutely.
Because we can't wait on the people around us to be that. You know.
Well, that's true.
That's one of the.
That's true, but you become a product of your environment. You can be a person that goes in and changes the environment. That means you got a whole bunch of passion and spirit in you that can command change. You're a change agent. Or you're going to be a person that's influenced by your environment. That's how many of us are. We're influenced by our.
Well, all of us are influenced by our environment. So we have to be wise about how we choose our friends. You know what I mean? We want to be selective in terms of the people that we go to for financial advice and so forth. You know, like, are they fiscally responsible? Are they people that are following what the Bible says? You know, I'm just, drawing a reference there in terms of we kind of have to choose who are going to be our core people. But then that doesn't mean that we're not around people that are not on our level, so to speak, as well. But we kind of have to choose who are going to be in our core circle of influence, because those are the people that are going to be the main ones that are going to challenge us and determine where we're going to be.
Absolutely.
Financially and in other areas. So we got to pick those people prayerfully and with wisdom.
Hey, what's up, Support Mark? Yeah, man. We back on Monday. Oh, you got the book. Hey, you should have waited till I got my affiliate marketing link, man, but that's cool. Yeah, we'll be back on Monday. I'm not going to do it tomorrow. I'm going to do it Monday. So did you catch up on all the videos?
What book? What book are we talking about now? You have a link?
No, he giving away my secret. No, I'm just playing. We're currently doing a series called How Rich People Think. It's a 100-day journey to change the way you think about money.
Oh, okay.
He was on my
that one
earlier this morning, and he ordered the book, and he'll be joining me on Monday. So, So did you get a chance to go through and watch the other videos? Because you asked me for my link. All right, food, fantastic. Take action. Yeah, that's right. Most people, it's funny because if I give people some books to read, they typically don't take action. You be like, hey, did you ever get that book? It's like, no. You ever watch that video? Oh, I didn't get around to it. It makes so many excuses, and they wonder why they don't make any progress. So I'm glad to see we got a take action guy in the building. That's exactly what we're talking about, taking action. So that's fantastic.
That's right.
So here's the guy, man. The reason why I do stuff like this on, guys, is one, because I care. My goal, my desire is to see you progress, to see you become successful. I want to partner in success. So anytime you have a story, anytime you have something great that has happened in your life, please let me know so I can smile with you. See, I want to partner in your success. And I know that as you become more successful, then our village becomes more successful. As you become financially free, then you can help other people become financially free. And I'm telling you, man, that's one of the biggest weights that's on our shoulders is where we are with our finances. That's the biggest weight that's going on in the marriages that we see. They're divorcing because of money. The biggest weight, the biggest Goliath, the biggest giant that we have in this land today, in my opinion, is money. Either we're going to tackle it, slay it, and tame it, or we're going to let it control us. So you got to ask yourself, you got to be the person to say, I'm going to take control of my day. I'm going to take control of my money. I'm going to take control of my finances, and I'm not going to let them no longer control me. Either you run your day or your day run you. Which one are you? So that's the deal, man. So of course, there's other parts to the financial freedom, the financial freedom railroad, right? But the first part that we're talking about today is getting out of debt. From that, then you can get to a position where you can learn how to make your money work for you. We can always talk about business. That's some things that we talk about as well. But tonight, I wanted to focus on. I don't know about that, Renata. That's a little extreme. But I get your point.
Wait, that's a scripture. That's a scripture.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a scripture. Money answered all things.
Oh, that's in the Bible.
You're going to give me that reference because I'm about to look it up right now. Make sure that thing say the right thing.
Yeah, it does answer all things. I mean, it may not always be the right answer, though. But it does answer all things.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to find that one. Y'all making me go deep into this thing now. Woo!
Yeah. Yeah.
Anybody got any other questions?
Anyway, Evan.
Huh?
Anyway, Evan, I am about to hop off now. It's getting pretty late. It's 10:50 on my side.
Yeah.
So I'm going to prepare.
All right, fantastic. Have a good one.
So thanks for having me on.
Hey, thank you for following you. Make sure I see what's going on with you. Going on, huh?
And I will jump in when you have that discussion on building business and so forth, because that's kind of my forte.
Okay, fantastic.
So
thanks so much for joining.
Do you schedule your cast ahead of time?
Oh yeah, I got my whole week and a half scheduled already. Unless I do something on.
Okay, great. So I'll go in and check that out.
Okay.
If you guys wanna keep up with me, I'm gonna put the link to my Facebook here that you can actually reach me. And those who are in the group, I'll see you there.
All right, Renata, I need that scripture. I'm still looking. Hey, young Lawrence Haight, I appreciate you, boy. But I'm going to have to say goodbye to you. That's just what I do. My block game is on fleek. It's on fleek.
Yeah, that's my fan page.
Okay, cool.
All right, guys. So nice chatting with you, and I'll see you at that next one. Okay, have a good weekend and enjoy the rest of your the broadcast.
All right, fantastic. Thanks. She making me look up some stuff today. Ecclesiastes 10:19. Let me make sure I'm getting this thing in the right reference because
he didn't know. He didn't know, Renata. We schooled him tonight.
When y'all say something, right? When y'all say something, I think you wanna do the whole scripture, right? You just can't read some of the scripture. You can't just read some of the scripture and then call it that's the scripture. Come on, guys. Oh my goodness. Y'all gonna
That's why you have to look it up.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why
you have to look it
up. Just so we can actually we can actually look this thing up. Y'all using half scriptures. What is that about?
That was like the bait. That was like the bait to get you to look up the whole thing.
That was the main point of the scripture, but y'all gonna give me a half scripture and act like I don't know what it's talking about. 1 second here. Hey, Raz, man, you got anything else for the people?
Have fun with the Bible study.
Huh?
Have fun with the Bible study. I'll see y'all later.
All right, have a good one, Tamika. I tell Raz, you got anything else for the people?
No, man. I'm gonna jump out and be in the comments.
Okay.
I see y'all about start talking about the Bible. That's another topic. So
yeah, that's another topic. That's for tomorrow. But she giving me a half of a scripture. We got to start looking at stuff in context. I'm not gonna go in a Bible study with you guys tonight, because it requires there's some context in this scripture as well. So if we're going to say that money is the answer for everything, we really need to read the whole scripture and probably need to read 18, 19, and 20. Not just give me 3-4 words out of the entire scripture and say like money is, put it in quotes. You didn't quote the whole scripture. All right, see, that's why I'm saving this stuff for tomorrow. See, tomorrow is when Church Without Walls come down, And we're going to have whole entire scriptures that we can go through. Yeah, that's good. I like it. Y'all got me on my toes, making me look. So anyway, I want to thank you guys. Well, it's wise words if you can grasp the wisdom out of it, right? We got to grasp the wisdom out of it. So, the Bible is a very tricky book, but it's definitely great to grasp the wisdom that's out of it so that we can apply it to our life. But obviously, wisdom is the principal thing. But with all thy getting, get understanding. So yeah, you can have wise words, but you don't get an understanding of what it's saying. Then how actually can you apply it to your life if you don't understand what it means and what it says? See, y'all trying to pull this brother E out of me today, and I'm trying to wait until tomorrow, and y'all trying to pull it out of me. I was talking about financial freedom and the number one reason why you get out of debt. So, hey, I want to just send some shout outs. Mikhail, thanks so much for joining. You are always supporting Raz Rising. Zoe, of course. Evan Doll, please don't put Doll on the back of my name. Oh my goodness, you just insulted me. Tamisha, thanks so much for joining. Benny the Cop, man, I see you in here. Just showing your presence, man. I appreciate you, brother, for showing up. That's the key, guys. Noel, as always, the beautiful Mr. Patrick, thanks so much for being here. TS, you're in the building. And, of course, Miss Mary. Hey, Miss Mary, you want to share with the people about KidVest? Today, this morning, we did KidVest, man. We taught kids about money. So, of course, you guys don't know. I don't just talk about it. I be about it. So we did a KidVest this morning. And Miss Mary, can you hop on real quick? Because I think you got something to say that's going to really bless the people if you are able to. I don't know. If you got your headscarf on, I understand. But I want to give you about 10 minutes to talk about the experience that you had and that your son had by just showing up. If you don't know Miss Mary, she hit me up on Twitter. She was like, hey, I heard about this KidVest thing. I want my son to get on, but we're in Canada. So in case you guys don't know, KidVest just went international. And she's like, we're in Canada. Will this that you're going to teach tomorrow about money, is it going to apply? And I was like, of course, because what I'm talking about with money is principles. Principles apply no matter where you are in the world. So Miss Mary, hopefully you're able to jump on real quick. I'm calling you out to talk to the people about your experience today, about your son's experience today. Oh my goodness. No good, no bueno. Of course I'm telling everybody. See, when we have good news, we should be excited to tell people about the good news. I mean, we shouldn't just want to tell everybody all the bad stuff and just tell everybody 50 million times all the bad stuff that's happened in our life. We should be able to share the good news. And this is good news, but I wasn't going to tell it for you. I was going to give you the opportunity to tell it, but that's okay. That's cool. We'll save it for when you can share your story. But we had an absolutely phenomenal time. We talked about what is money today. Last week we talked about income. So we're teaching kids, when you start talking to kids, grades 2, we had grades 2 through 7 on today, and they were learning things like liquidity. They were learning things like fiat money. They were learning things like the coincidence of wants, which many of you guys probably don't even know what that is. We're teaching the kids things about money that adults don't even know. So imagine the head start that they're getting by the education that they are coming into about this monetary system. And it's going to put them in position as they move forward in life to be able to make different decisions, because we're depositing into their gold mine right information. That makes sense? And that's what I'm doing. And so, we're continuing to progress and grow. We're getting more exposure. People are talking about us now. Zoe is a part of the team. He is helping. We have KidVest, TeenVest, and AdultVest. So me and Zoe are working right now to work on an adult class on budgeting. So be on the lookout for that. We're working on that. It's online, so you'll be able to join no matter where you are. I understand we are global. I can touch you if you're in Africa. It doesn't matter, because we're using the internet to our advantage to be able to reach people in their homes. So you have no excuse why you can't get your budget right. You have no excuse why you can't move from being in the red into the black. In other words, being in debt into wealth, if you start to learn the principles of money. And so we're going to teach it. See, here's a problem that I found is that we don't have One, we got to get past ourselves and say that, you know what? I've been making some stupid decisions. I am not been doing well and I need help. Once you say to yourself and once you say to the universe, I need help, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And so what I've been working on is assembling a team of dynamic teachers that can not only give you information, but also give you inspiration. When you are inspired to act, you will do amazing things. Renata's here. She's been inspired. She's just doing amazing things. Zoe is here. He's been inspired. He's doing amazing things. Noelle is here. She's been inspired. She's doing amazing things. Nikhil is here. She's been inspired. She's doing amazing things. Miss James just joined. She has had me on her show. She's inspired. She's doing amazing things. Nothing great has ever been accomplished without a little inspiration. You getting out of debt, you may wait until it's desperation, but I'm telling you, when you get inspired to get out of debt, you'll knock that thing out faster than you think. I was inspired to get my first paid speaking engagement. I didn't know it was going to happen in 3 months. Nothing great has ever been accomplished without a little inspiration. And the kids that I talked to today, they're now inspired to be great. The question is, are you inspired to be great? Are you inspired to live a financially free life? Are you inspired to live the best life that you can live? See, I did that pause. See that pause that I just did right there? That was a mechanic that you learn in public speaking. I'm gonna use this stuff when I get on the stage in front of 150 people or 500 people, and I gotta touch their heart. Because what I've learned, guys, is that you can't touch someone's mind until you touch their heart. Once you can touch their heart, then they'll listen to you. They'll know that you care. And then when they know that you care, they'll be more apt to pay attention to what you have to say. And then what you say can change their life for the good. So if you're having a problem connecting with people in your business, you're having a problem getting your message across to people in your family, you're having a problem with that, I would venture to say because you haven't learned to touch their heart before you touch their head. Find a way. Find what people love. Find what makes them move. Find where their pain is as well. I want you to find their pain and their pleasure. Because once you can find that, you can tap into their heart. And what's the easy way to tap into their heart? All you got to do is find out where their treasure is. Your heart is where your treasure is. You find out where someone's treasure is, then you can tap into their heart. Once you can tap into their heart, you can tap into their mind. And ultimately, whatever goes into your mind, that is what will output into your life, the renewing of the mind. So what we're doing is we're transforming minds by first touching lives. I should probably coin that somewhere because I know somebody's going to steal it from me. Yeah, you can fight through their stomach too. I know for me, you feed me good. I'm going to listen to everything you got to say. But I hope that tonight was very beneficial and helpful for you guys. I just do this for the village. I want to make sure that I give all that I can give because I know that when I give, then I get in return. So I'm going to be refilled tonight and be ready to go in the morning because I gave all that I could today. And so every day of your life, I want you to work on exhausting your day. See, here's the deal, guys. I don't want you to wake up with no energy. I want you to go to sleep with no energy. Let me repeat that again. I don't want you to wake up with no energy. I want you to go to sleep with no energy. Because if each and every day you exhaust your day, you do all that you can, you go as far as you can, then when you go to sleep, your sleep is going to be so sweet. But when you wake up, you'll be re-energized because you had such an amazing, productive day the day before that you want to do it all over again. I'm glad I got this recorded because I need to hear this myself. Sometimes you got to preach to yourself. So that's the deal, man. So I appreciate you guys being here, man. We're going to wrap this thing up. I'll be here tomorrow at 8 a.m. with Church Without Walls, talking about what the Bible says about money. I got some things to share. And this, I'm overdue. I'm overdue. I haven't done a Church Without Walls in quite a long time, but I've been re-inspired because some people are saying, hey, I'm a Christian and I need to know what the Bible says about money. And sometimes it's kind of hard for you to find it yourself. So we're going to go through some things tomorrow at 8 a.m. in the morning, 8 a.m. Eastern. Yes, you can check I already got it scheduled, so you can check my schedule if you're following me. You can sign up to it, and you can just join in on a conversation, man. It's going to be very light. It's just a time for us to really just divide the word of truth and take from it what God has for us, whatever that's going to be for you. But I want to show you some things so that if you are that person that says, I live by the Bible, then you can really start to live by what it says. Not what the preachers say, not what ERG say, but what it says, the word itself. So I want you to take the word for what the word says and apply it to your life. So that's what we'll be doing tomorrow. So anyway, that's my time, guys. And no one else is talking to me, so I don't have anything else to say. Anybody, any words for me? Anything else? We good? The village is good? Hey, support marketing. What do I call you, man? Patrick? Okay, Patrick, I'm going to see you on Monday. So in case you guys don't know, I do a show every Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. I do another show at Monday through Saturday at 8 a.m. So the one I do at 7 a.m. is a motivational show. It's to help you grow. The one that I do at 8 o'clock is our financial show, and we're going through right now the 100 days of how to think like how rich people think. And then obviously I do other random stuff whenever I feel like it. So anyway, you guys have a wonderful night. We will we'll catch up with you in the AM.